Hey y'all, welcome to my question of the week. This week's question comes from Angela in Houston. Angela says, when I go out with my friends, I like to have a drink or two, but I also want to watch my calorie intake. What is the best way to drink alcohol when you're watching your calories? Is it true that I should stay away from beer? That's a good question, Angela. I'm sure a lot of people are probably wondering the same thing. Whenever you're trying to count your calories or watch your calories, alcohol is something that you should be mindful of for sure. So you can still make it happen every once in a while, but moderation is key for sure. So I totally understand. I like to have a drink with my girls every once in a while. And it's just one of those things where you have to kind of plan ahead and pay attention to what you're drinking, just like the way that you're probably watching your calories with what you eat. You want to do the same with your alcohol, but you probably already know that since you asked me this question. So I'm just going to get down to the dirty alcohol facts so that you can make a good choice for yourself. So the general rule of thumb is the higher the alcohol content, the higher the calorie content in alcohol. So with wines, usually red wines have higher alcohol content than white wines. So they usually have a little bit more calories. It's usually going to be about 140 calories per glass of red wine, whereas white wine may only have 120. It's not a huge difference, but if you're really trying to be strict, it's just a little modification there you might want to make. Also with champagne, you want to go for the brut kind that has less sugar and therefore less calories. But out of all three, if you're really trying to be careful, I would go white wine, then red wine, and then champagne. Okay, so for beers, this is probably the most feared by people that are trying to lose weight or watch what they eat. So I know everyone is scared of the dreaded beer belly, and I think that the beer belly kind of comes from the frat boys who are drinking Bud Light or Natty Light, and they only have 100 calories in them. They kind of taste like water, and then before you know it, they've had 20 beers. That's a lot of extra calories for the day, because I guarantee you that you're still eating while you're drinking those beers. But that's not something that you're going to worry about, because it's not something that you're going to do. So what you're going to do is choose a beer that you like, that you enjoy, and that you can drink slowly. So if a Natty Light is your choice, go for it. It's 100 calories, done and done. But if you're like me, you like a little bit tastier beer, you are going to get a few more calories with it. So beers like Blue Moon will have about 160 calories. A lot of IPAs start at around 200. If you're a fan of all the seasonal beers, it's usually about 180 to 250. Just know that as they get more flavorful and more strong, sometimes more dark, they usually have more calories. So it's just something to take into consideration. You just want to drink those more slowly and maybe a little bit less often. So now let's talk about liquor. Liquor is kind of the go-to for a lot of girls. They'll do just a shot of vodka maybe with some water. And I mean, it's true that does have some of the least calories that you can get. Usually liquor has about 75 to 100 calories per shot. So when you mix it with water, which is obviously calorie-free, you're at 75 to 100 calories for pretty high alcohol content. It's just when you get into those mixers when you start to see your problems. So basically you want to avoid the sugary mixers. It's diet drinks. Water is one of my favorites. You can even do flavored water. Things like that. It's just kind of the way to go when you're watching your calories. But when you're trying to decide between wine versus beer versus liquor, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter. Choose what you prefer, because you really shouldn't be drinking 5 drinks that night. So choose which one is your favorite. Drink that, and just take your time enjoying it. So that's my advice there. And again, I can't emphasize enough, moderation is key when it comes to alcohol when you are trying to watch your weight. It just doesn't really do you any good. A lot of times it slows you down and makes you think that you're hungrier than you are. So it's just kind of learning how you feel with all those hunger cues and other cues. So if you know for a fact that if you have beer, if you have 1 or 2 beers at night and then you come home and you want to eat half a pizza, beer isn't going to be the way to go for you right now. It may just be 1 glass of wine and you sit and chat with your girls and you go to bed. Everyone kind of reacts differently to different alcohols, and by now you probably know what works for you and what doesn't. But moderation, watch your mixers, and that's really it. So I hope that helps. I hope that you feel confident making a drink decision next time that you're out. And that's it. So thanks for your question. You guys keep your questions coming, and have a great day. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks.